Dictionary guy is thinking, again, probably my fault, because when I named the theory, I just came up with names. The names are really not what's super important. What's important is the underlying structure and dynamics of the theory. But I named it distinctions. I think distinctions is pretty good. Because you're distinguishing between things, right? It's a boundary between what is and what is not the thing. Systems, I named it systems, is part whole. It's about how part and whole interact with each other, right? And that's a fundamental cognitive pattern, as is identity, other distinctions, right? But some people think of systems as being like the dictionary definition of systems, and that's not what it is. The definition of systems is literally how are part and whole interacting in your thinking, right? The wholes contain parts, and parts make up wholes, right?
But people think of systems. Well, what's funny is they think of the dictionary definition, or they just think of their own definition. Like, people have so many different definitions for systems.
So systems is kind of you could really call this organizing. Grouping, sorting. Because grouping, you can group things in a million different ways. That's exactly what systems is saying. Sorting, you can sort things in a million different ways. That's exactly what part whole systems is all about, is how are we sorting things? How are we grouping things?
But I think if you named it that, we'd get into the mess of categories.
Right. Exactly. And a category is like a group that has a little extra. It's got this perspective out there, right?
So I think we should stick with part whole systems on that one.
Relationships, I think, is pretty tight. Connections is another term you might think of, but relationships is what it means. And it's about action reaction. It's about, like, if you just imagine two people on ice skates, and you push against, you have an action and a reaction. Both are going to go backwards from one interacting, because they're both acting on each other and they're both reacting to each other. So, and then perspectives, again, a lot of people think of this term to be, things with eyeballs. It tends to be very visual, and we're not really saying that per se. We're saying, like, how are things framed, right? We're framing something. And the frame changes the view. It changes what you see. Just like in a photographer, when you do that thing, like photographer, like a video, like a cinematographer. The director is doing this thing. It's what's in the frame. Oh, well, there's a bunch of other stuff happening over here, but I'm just getting this in the frame. I mean, that's half the magic of movies, right? Is like there's a ton of other crazy stuff going on set. But the frame makes it look like this is going on, right?